Thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. We are not ready. I'll say it again, we are not ready. We're not close to being ready for the ramifications of the end of this Wano arc. And this can be more clearer to me than in One Piece chapter 1032. Now, for some people, they're saying, well, what are you talking about? We always knew the end of Wano was going to be crazy. Yeah, but things are clearing up a bit. The smoke is clearing and some conclusions are becoming more apparent, right? So in One Piece chapter 1032, and as I always do, spoiler alert, because we will be talking about things that happened in the chapter. And I don't want to spoil y'all. I want y'all to enjoy the chapters the way I enjoy the chapters, where I can go into it without knowing anything that's going on. I know for some people, they don't really care about spoilers. I don't know how people can operate like that. Like once something is spoiled for me, it completely ruins my experience. So I don't know, you're a different breed if you can do that. However, there will be spoilers, all right? One Piece chapter 1032.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
One of the goals in life is to always get better and grow. Skillshare is a community online for creatives to learn and take the next step to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and just get lost in creativity. People ask me all the time, like how to get better at various things in regards to YouTube. Well, this is literally the cheat code. What I absolutely loved was a step-by-step by, from someone I regard as one of the best YouTubers on the planet, Marques Brownlee, where he talks about his process from beginning to end. And this is just the tip of the iceberg with Skillshare. And for right now, the first 1,000 subscribers to use the link below gets a month free. How many things can you learn in a month? Click the link below, give it a shot, and get lost in creativity.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Something significant to me that happened is the reveal or the inclination that CP0 knows about Sword. This is a big deal for so many reasons, right? One reason is specifically because there is going to be a civil war. There is going to be an internal struggle among the Marines because now it's a fight for power and it's somewhat a fight for positioning. Currently, the structure of the Marines, it funnels through Imu. Then it goes down to the Gurusei, CP0, etc., etc. The Celestial Dragons, but they're for the most part aloof. CP0, then you have the Marines. Everything branches off from Imu. How things are trying to be, what Sword is trying to do is basically branch off from the Celestial Dragons and create a different person in power. They're not trying to report to the Gurusei. They're trying to branch off into the Marines and create an entire new structure that is probably better. The thing is with Imu and that structure, it is so corrupt because it's coming from one person. One person completely controlling everything, no checks and balances. They can do whatever they want. Like the Gurusei, they're talking about a cleansing. There's no one to check that. But that's not the perception. It's perceived that, hey, the world is run by the Celestial Dragons. So even as terrible as they are, people have to come together and agree. No, it is one person controlling everything, which is, you can talk about monarchies and, how those work where a king controls everything. We need better structure. But regardless, what's happening is that they're trying to branch off and CP0, for them, that can't happen. Because once that happens, Im loses power, Gurusei loses power, CP0 essentially loses their influence because they're tied to those upper tier people. Some did speculate and say, well, they weren't talking about specifically Sword, but they're talking about the Marines. Fair. But for CP0, knowing that X Drake is a Marine, now you start to ask questions. Okay, who is X Drake superior? Who does X Drake report to? Who does X Drake talk to? Who has X Drake been seen with? Remember, X Drake was with Kobe in a specific area at some point. Does this expose other people? For Apu now, he's saying he knows X Drake is a Marine. So what I'm surmising from this, post Wano, X Drake will be a full-fledged Marine. He will be now operating as a full-fledged Marine. For the rest of the pirate world, a Supernova being confirmed as a Marine, that would be scary because now you're wondering who else could be a Marine. Also, who else could be a revolutionary? He infiltrated Kaido's forces to the point that he was considered a Toby Roppo, someone that was being considered to be a commander of a Yonko. This is big news. So once the X Drake news comes out, it's going to cause a panic, but then it's going to cause some more stir in the world government. Because again, more questions are going to be asked. Now, the big question is, who controls Sword? Who are the people that are over Sword? Who knows about it? The popular theory is that it's Sengoku, right? It's Sengoku and Garp has something to do with it. I don't think Akainu is has anything to do with it at all because Kobe's a part of SWORD. And do you know how awkward it would be if Akainu is the leader of SWORD and then you have Kobe, someone that he tried to kill, just right there at the front of the class like, yeah, what do you gotta say now, boss? This is a real awkward situation for Akainu. I don't think he operates that way. He's a lot more heavy-handed than how SWORD has been. Now, people have also speculated that SWORD is being run by Aokiji, and that was put in place by Akainu, and that's why Akainu is dubbed the winner of their fight, but it's just so counter to Akainu's personality that we know of. Now, we don't know what transpired after 10 days of fighting someone. Did his heart cool down? Did he change as a person? Did he learn some things? Did he realize some things? We don't know. However, it does not seem apparent to me that Akainu would be a part of SWORD. Post Wano, again, once all this comes out, I expect a cleansing to happen in some form or fashion, but the cleansing will not only be happening in the world. I believe the Marines will be cleansing some of its ranks because they're going to start to be a bit more skeptical of people because of the reveal or the hint that an organization like SWORD exists. Because essentially, SWORD is a secret organization, but it is, for the most part, betrayal because they're trying to rid the world government of the baggage that it has. They don't want the Celestial Dragons there, right? So when push comes to shove, if you have someone that's trying to take down the Celestial Dragons, who do you think SWORD will side with? I don't think X-Drake working with Luffy here was a coincidence. It was a foreshadow of what was to come. X-Drake will 100% fight on the side of the Straw Hats in the future. So this makes things crazy. After Wano, who gets accused? Can the Marines keep trusting each other? And then within the Marines, you're going to have people that are probably on both sides. Say the news of this secret organization spreads. You're going to have people that agree with the Celestial Dragon and say, yeah, all pirates are scum. I don't care about the Celestial Dragons. I get to kill pirates. Then you're going to have people like Fujitora, the good Marines that we know of, Smoker. They're actively trying to make the Marines a better place. So if they get wind of a secret organization that's trying to improve things or just be better as a Marine away from the eye of the Celestial Dragons, the Gorosei, and they don't know about Imu, some Marines are going to side with that. But then what happens? It inevitably causes a civil war. It inevitably makes a situation where at the final war, people are going to be picking sides. Marines will be picking sides because they will understand what they're fighting for. They're fighting for a better world. And a better world cannot exist where the Celestial Dragons and Imu are in control. Again, no checks and balances. I believe big names like Aokiji will be involved. Akainu is interesting though, because I don't know how he feels necessarily about being the dog of the Celestial Dragons. He seems to me to be, he's an alpha dog, right? He's the big red dog, he's Clifford. So how they respond to him, the Gorosei, how they talk to him, basically telling him that he's insignificant. Does he hold on to that? Because I don't know if his heart can be changed, right? But he really hates pirates. He does not like them. He cannot stand their guts, but he's on the side of justice. A bit radical, I agree, but he's on the side of justice, his own sense of justice, which sometimes it's flawed because you're going beyond the regular parameters to accomplish these goals. And for you, the method does not exist. It's all about the outcome, which is dangerous. It's dangerous. So you're willing to sacrifice people, Marines, innocent people to accomplish your goals, which ultimately is justified by, hey, killing these 20 people save 200,000. So it is what it is. It's justified, which, you know, some people think that's the logical way to look at things, which it probably is, but most people don't like to hear it. Okay, you don't want to hear that, hey, I'm going to kill 1,000 people to save 1 million, because those 1,000 people, they're human, they have families. You're still taking 1,000 lives, but on the other hand, you're saving 1 million people. So for Akainu, when he blew up the ship in Ohara, he's probably thinking, well, I killed some innocent people, but for the most part, if one person had gotten away, it probably would have harmed so many different others because he believes in the ways of the Marines, the ways of the world government. It's so funny that they finally got rid of the warlords, right? And now they have this new faction coming in, the SSG. And they're so proud of this force and this faction, they were able to get rid of the warlords, right? And the warlords consisted of Boa Hancock, Mihawk, I want to say Buggy, Weevil, a lot of strong combatants, but you couldn't really control them, right? For them, this faction should be controlled. How does this faction play into the Marines? Into the final battle, the final war where people are picking sides. Once Luffy and his forces comes to Marijoa, I believe Smoker is a part of SSG, right? So then there'll be civil war among the SSG, where some members of the SSG are probably going to say, well, I'm with the Marines, I'm with the Celestial Dragons, where Smoker, Shigi, people like that are probably going to say, no, that's not right at the end of the day. And I didn't do something when I should have, Smoker himself. So now is the time where I'm going to do something. I'm going to stand up for what I think is right. People also always wonder about Garp's involvement. What has Garp done to aid the cause or to be detrimental to the Marines? We know for a fact Garp does not like the Celestial Dragons. Garp hates them. One of the reasons why he hasn't become an admiral is because, of course, he wants his freedom, but he does not want to be under their thumb. He does not want to be a dog for the Celestial Dragons because they are scum. They really are. So could Garp be the head of SWORD? What about Bogart? Is he the person, the deputy that's recruiting different people to SWORD? Because how do you choose people? For Sengoku, we know he raised Corazon and he raised X-Drake. Corazon was for a fact in a secret organization. X-Drake now, he's in a secret organization. So Sengoku being the head of SWORD, even though he's retired, it makes a lot of sense because you can still inflict change even though you're not a part of it anymore. But SWORD is absolutely necessary. The Marines, they're out of control. The world government, they have way too much power. They have no restrictions, no checks and balances, and that's what SWORD is providing. Now, if they do find out who is in charge, do they execute them? Because CP0, they went after X-Drake and they did not care. They were still playing cleanup. So again, it makes me wonder about other people that are members of SWORD. Now, I don't think they have a SWORD list, all the people that are in SWORD, but now they're wary. Now they understand their forces at B within their own organization. Now, SWORD and how it overlaps with the revolutionaries, that's something we have to wait and see, but essentially their goals are the same. They haven't flat out come out and said that, hey, we're going to take down the Celestial Dragons, but SWORD is not under the watchful eye of the Celestial Dragons. They have a completely different objective, a completely different mission, and it does not involve the corrupt nature of the Marines or the people that follow the Celestial Dragons. Personally, I do think we're in for something special because the world will essentially be in chaos. We can't forget, Big Mom and Kaido will be falling here. So that's two Yonko who at one point maintained the world's balance. Once they're gone, people will be making moves onto their territory, and it's going to be anarchy on that side, in the pirate world, as well as for the Marines. And then the vulnerability, does anyone get wind of it? Does that get out to the point that people are now challenging the Marines? Again, it's so many moving parts, but I think this was a significant thing to find out because they have to eradicate the moles. They have to get rid of the people within the Marines that are working for SWORD. It could go so high up to the point that maybe one of the Gurusei could be heading SWORD. Maybe they're just tired of living, because one of the theories that we have in the community is that the Gurusei, they're immortal. They can live forever because the appearance, it hasn't really changed ever since we met them back then. So I'm really intrigued by this plot point. Some people may not be as excited about it, but I think just that simple line, just that one inkling leads to so many different situations that I can't wait to see play out. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel it's going to be within the Marines post Wano and then towards the final war? Because it's inevitable, right? But give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.